All right, let's run some 40s, shall we? From the quarterbacks, wide receivers, and tight ends from earlier in the day. We'll lead it off. QB01, Emory Jones finished his career at Cincinnati after starting at Florida. So much promise there, a lot of mobility, and ends up with that 4.77, DJ.
Yeah, you're looking at the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL in terms of passing yards. The average 40 was a 4.8 flat, so that's the number that you're chasing here. If you're a quarterback and Emory Jones, excellent time.
Let's move on to Jason Bean. Split time with Jalen Daniels there at Kansas and has some real speed. Ends up with a 4.56. Charles, real nice time here.
Yeah, so you know the elusiveness, the mobility, and of course things break down and he sprints. You need 10, he'll get you 11 on a nice little dash out of the pocket. 4.56, well done.
Did a nice job in 10 starts for the Jayhawks this year. We move on to John Rice Plumlee, transferred to UCF from Ole Miss, and he's got some athleticism and showing it off here, DJ, with a 4.53.
And you see this on the video. You see him running around. You see him taking off from the 3-yard line against FAU and launching himself into the end zone. He's got a baseball background playing there at UCF as well. I think this is going to be a good day for Plumlee, and he's off to a great start.
Oh, you better believe we're going to stretch those doubles into triples there with Plumlee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Even if he hits to the left side of the field,
he
can go.
To the wide receivers. D. Wiggins from Cincinnati leads us off. Big frame here at 6'3", ends up with a 4.63.
Yeah, 4.63. Look, the number you want to chase there, if you're looking at the top 10 guys in the NFL, the average time is a 4.47. Yeah. So you want to be a little bit more from D. Wiggins, but hopefully has a nice field workout.
Yeah.
Let's see if Dimitri Stanley gets us a little bit closer to that average time here from Iowa State, transferred in from Colorado. And Charles, he does go 4.52.
Yeah, not bad at all, and nothing like those bloodlines, right, guys? We always talk about that. His father, Walter, was he a 4th-round pick for Green Bay, I believe, back in 1985, 87, somewhere in that neighborhood. Played 7 years in the NFL. He's hoping to follow in his dad's footsteps.
All right, we've got some speed here with Phillip Brooks from Kansas State. And he goes 4.51, fastest we've seen thus far.
Yeah, it's a solid time. 53 grabs for him this year, like what he did in terms of contested catches. Excellent in those. 8 contested catches this year there at Kansas State in his 6th year.
Also has some punt return ability. We'll get into some of that as we roll through the day here. Eric Pizarro, his teammate at Kansas State, is up next. Transferred in from Lamar, where he had a couple of nice seasons. There goes 4.85, Charles.
Yeah, of course, not the time that he's looking for playing wide receiver position, but one thing you know about a Kansas State kid, they're going to come out prepared, going to come out with some toughness.
And that's a good segue for our 3rd straight Wildcat here. Seth Porter, walk-on, earned himself a scholarship and a team captain this last year. Ends up with a 4.51 special team stud.
Yeah, going to be a special teamer. He's blocked some punts there in his time at Kansas State. Not a lot of production offensively, but that's a great time, and that's his audition for special teams coaches.
Let's move to Arlen Bruce. Finished up at Oklahoma State after beginning at Iowa. And he ends up with a 4.77. Didn't actually register any stats at Oklahoma State. Dealt with some off-the-field stuff, but goes 4.77 there as we skip ahead now to his teammate this last year in Stillwater, Leon Johnson. You want to talk about a big frame here. 6'5". See if he can put him up and pick him up and put him down. Goes 4.52, Charles.
Yeah, and how about where he came from, right? Division III kid, right? George Fox. Right, in Oregon. This is the young man.
D3 to FBS.
D3, Division III to FBS, and was a legit player in the rotation at Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
And DJ, you know they pitch around a little bit up there in Stillwater.
No question.
Yeah, 33 catches this last year as we move to Warren Thompson for the TCU Horned Frogs. He goes 4.56. Good time there.
Yeah, for a bigger wide receiver. One of the interesting things about this class, we have a lot of 3-school guys. He's one of them. Florida State, Arkansas, and then up at TCU.
And that's going to be the norm, guys, going forward. 2-3 schools. It's not going to be one of those things where we question it. It just is because people are always trying to find a spot to play nowadays.
Jalen Robinson sees your 3 schools and raises you one. He goes 4 schools, Oklahoma to UCF to Ole Miss, finishes at TCU, and with a 4.56 40-yard dash time today. Let's move to Xavier White from Texas Tech. And some nice production for the Red Raiders the last couple of seasons. 39 catches in his final year.
He got out well.
133 for his career and finishes with a 4.45. Deej, that's our best of the day.
The pride of Dodge City Community College. Interesting background when you go through his stuff, but that is an elite time. When you look at the group that he's with today, that jumps out.
One of John Rice Plumlee's receivers, Jawan Forte, is at the line and ready to run, and he goes 4.64 after transferring in from D2 Walsh University.
But he represents guys, the Walter Mitty in all of us. Remember that book when we had those dreams of doing different things? Not a lot of production in college, no numbers really to speak of, but he comes here hoping he can just catch someone's eye and get an opportunity and become one of those stories that we'll talk about forever.
Teammate at UCF, Corey Gamage. Bigger guy here, 6'4", 220 pounds. Goes 5.01. Teammate Javon Baker declined to run the 40, standing on his 4.54 at the Combine in Indianapolis. And so we moved to Devin Carter from West Virginia. Again, another bigger body wide receiver, team leader for the Mountaineers in receiving yards with 501, and he runs a 4.67. Now continuing the 40-yard dash, taking a look at the tight ends in this Big 12 Pro Day group. We'll start with Isaac Rex from BYU, tight end 0-1. Goes 4.96. That's a major production, too, 24 career touchdowns.
Yeah, and the number that you're chasing here, the average tight end, top 10 in receiving yards, they are size-wise 6.042, so 6'4", 248 pounds with a 4.62 40. So the numbers have gotten fast over the years.
Michael Laughlin up next from Houston, trying to get a little bit closer to that average time here, and he will at 4.84. Finishes his career with 49 receptions, CD.
And remember, he played at Houston. Dana Holgerson, head coach, that air raid background. So the tight end not getting as many balls thrown to him as those guys out wide.
That's good context there as we turn to Easton Dean from Iowa State. Again, another one of those 6'6" guys, 265 pounds, goes 4.95. Mason Fairchild's an interesting one. We saw him right here at the Forward Center at the start, the East-West Shrine Bowl. I think they might have a future, Charles, as an H-back, fullback type, running a 4.90 here.
Yeah, listen, DJ, you know what those guys are like, who can all of a sudden come downfield, come inside, block people, block those guards on those wham plays and things of that nature. Maybe that works out well for Mason Fairchild.
Let's shine the spotlight on the best mustache of the crew.
There it is.
Braden Cassidy, look at that beauty right there. Ends up running 5.05, has spent time on both sides of the ball. Kind of reminds me of Derek Parrish from Houston.
Come out of Houston last year. Nice comp, right?
He went to a big-time high school, Austin Westlake. Out here, in these parts, they know that well.
And his dad, longtime defense coordinator in the college ranks, well-respected Mike Cassidy.
Josiah Johnson here runs a 5 flat, finishing his career at Oklahoma State after 5 years at UMass, which then brings us to Curtis Raymond III, tight end number 7 from the TCU Horned Frogs, as part of that 22 national title participant team, and he goes 4.63. Nice time.
Yeah, did a nice job. Look, didn't catch a pass over the last 2 years at TCU, but at Cornell had some production before transferring, and now you put a nice time together.
He had a high average per catch at Cornell, right?
Yes, he did. 19.8.
Almost 20 yards a catch.
Didn't get a run from Jared Wiley or Baylor Cupp, so he moved to Alec Holler from UCF at a career-high 24 receptions this year. Ends up running 4.75. Again, another solid time there for the Golden Knight tight end. Zach Marsh-Wojen is up next, his teammate at tight end there at UCF. Again, not a ton of production, but trying to make a name for himself here. Ends up running the 5.09. That's 6'5".
He's trying to show that, his teammate, Holler, ended up catching all the passes the tight end was supposed to get. What about me? I'm here. Let's throw a few my way.
Noah Massey here, too, and from West Virginia. Yeah, but ends up going 4.67.
Yeah,
that's a great time.
By way of Angelo State, Bowling Green, found his way at West Virginia. Neil Brown's team had a really nice season, those Mountaineers, and he helped promote it.